So we'll see application level session hijacking. It relies on the HTTP sessions. So there are different categories. In that, the first one is stealing, and then guessing, brute forcing, session sniffing, etc. So let's look at what is a stealing. An attacker can steal the session key through physical access, for example, acquiring the files containing session IDs or memory contents of either the user system or the server. The attacker can also use sniffing tools such as Wireshark or Steal Central Packet Analyzer to sniff the traffic between the client and the server to extract the session IDs from the packets. Then guessing. An attacker attempts to guess the session IDs by observing session variables. This will be easy if the servers use weak or flawed session ID generation mechanisms. Brute forcing. In brute force technique, an attacker obtains session IDs by attempting all possible permutations of session ID values until finding one that works. This technique is most useful when the algorithm that produces session IDs is non-random. A session token can be compromised in various ways. Next is session sniffing. An attacker uses a sniffer to capture a valid session token or session ID using tools like Wireshark and Steal Central Packet Analyzer. The attacker can then uses the valid token session to gain unauthorized access to the web server. Compromising session IDs by predicting session token. Attackers can find out session IDs by collecting high number of session IDs and studying them. High number of session IDs is the key. So by collecting this large number of session IDs, they will study, they will analyze these session IDs and try to find the information or algorithm used to generate it. So attackers can also guess session IDs by using a brute force technique. Next is compromising session IDs using man-in-the-middle attack. The man-in-the-middle attack is used to intrude into an existing connection between system and intercept the message being exchanged. Next, compromising session IDs using man-in-the-browser attack. Uh, the man-in-the-browser attack uses a Trojan horse to intercept the calls between the browser and its security mechanisms or library. So here the Trojan will be sitting between the browser and its security mechanisms. So the Trojan first infects the computer software and installs a malicious code called as extension files and saves it into the browser configuration. After the user restarts the browser, the malicious code in the form of extension file is loaded. The extension files register a handler for every visit to the web page. When the page is loaded, the extension uses the URL and matches it with a list of known sites targeted for the attack. So the attacker might have some target in mind, and he might have used a list of sites. So this Trojan will compare this list with the page that is loaded, and then if they match, and if the user logs in securely to the website, the Trojan registers a button event handler when a specific page load is detected for a specific pattern and compares it with the targeted list. This is what I said. It compares with the targeted list with the loaded page, and then if it matches, um, the extension which is loaded to the browser will extract the data from all the form fields, and it modifies the value of the form fields. The user will be unaware of this. The browser sends this modified form to the server. The server receives the modified values but cannot distinguish between the original and the modified values. After the server performs the transaction, a receipt is generated. Now the browser receives the receipt for the modified transaction. The browser displays the receipt with original details. So the user think that the original transaction was received by the server without any interceptions. The main objective of this attack is financial theft by manipulating transactions made using internet banking systems. So this is about the man in the browser attack. So to summarize, there is a Trojan which will install a extension file to the browser, and when a user opens an important websites related to any finance banking web pages, and then if he enters his authentication details, this extension will monitor that, and also it modifies the form, and it will send this modified form to the server. The user will be unaware of all these transactions. So in the next video we'll see other compromises that will be done on the application level to hijack the session.